Is that Venom? Not Venom, I suppose. This is Final Fantasy IV, video number 3. Known in the United States as Final Fantasy II when it was originally released on the Super Nintendo. I'm playing this as part of the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection on the PlayStation 4, provided by the Maryland Library System. A couple of things I should probably mention before I get too deep. I did a bunch of grinding for about half an hour when I was not recording commentary. We are currently in the section of the game where Kane, the Dragoon, has been left behind. Rydia, the summoner, is here. She started out at level 1 and we only had 30 hit points and was basically dying on 2 hits. So I needed to grind her up to level 11, which I'm at now. I think level 9 is probably enough grinding for her. You can get there in about maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, just kind of grinding her up. The fights here, at least in this version of the game, the fights are not too bad. You're able to level up as soon as you figure out how to get her in the back row. Because I mentioned before, when you're first starting out, she's very vulnerable. Keep her in the back row. You don't want her to take too much damage. Her armor is not particularly good either. So you're better off just keeping her in this back row while she can heal, she heals herself when she reaches level 2. She has a cure spell here that will allow her to sort of stay alive. So that's fine. But she can't really do much damage right away. She starts out with a rod, which I believe is right here. We removed it for this reason. When the rod is not an equipped item, it allows you to select it for a magic spell. It casts a magic arrow spell when it's used in battle as an item. So if you equip it, you can't use it that way. It's a very weak weapon. So I guess what I could do is I'll start out the video by showing how that works. I'll also show you why this bow and arrow are not very useful. So you could just leave this. You could just leave her completely unarmed. That's fine. But what I'll do is I'll show you how she starts. And then we'll slowly start to remove weapons from her inventory. So you see exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll get into a couple of fights right off the bat just so you can see how I have it laid out here. Again, she's very vulnerable at first. Oh yeah, this is bad. So right off the bat, we gotta deal with this this millipede. This millipede has an earthquake attack, which makes it very vulnerable, which makes it very dangerous to us. It can wipe out Lydia in one hit. I can't use the... Actually, I can use the rod while it's equipped. That's good. Right? So I can use the rod. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Good news. I can actually use the rod while it's equipped, because I thought I wasn't going to be able to do that before. Let me do a quick check on something. Yeah, it's equipped, so we're fine. Okay, because the other alternative is to equip a bow and arrow. Or in this case, it's for funsies. We'll just equip an arrow and no bow. Wouldn't that be hilarious? You can fight with just an arrow. You're not doing much damage, but it's there. So the idea is when you start out with those weapons, you can do what I did and blow a bunch of money. Let's attack with a regular attack, just for funsies. See, basically does nothing. It's trash. So we'll switch to another item eventually. Attack, items. We'll use the rod here, and then we can just go auto battle from this point out. So when she uses the rod as a magic arrow, it gives her quite a bit of damage. In fact, it's arguably, there's no reason to use it as a weapon because it's much better to be used as an item. The question is, how can I move it to the front of the menu so I don't have to keep digging through the menu to use it? Because, yeah, in the original game, I want to say there was a memory, yeah, cursor memory. That's the problem. I need to turn on the cursor memory. You need to turn on the cursor memory so the game remembers what action I chose in the previous fight. So the game remembers what your action was in the previous turn, which is a massive improvement, because this game requires you to go 4 or 5 levels deep in some menus. I think you have to go 3 levels deep in some of these menus, so I'm glad that's an option. So you saw me equip this arrow. It does no good. I can equip a bow instead. Well, I can I need an arrow to use with the bow, right? We're gonna find out in a second. So now I have a bow and no arrow. Let's see how we do. The bow's in our offhand with no arrows. So we're probably just gonna whack dudes with it, right? Again, I'm tooling around with this because the combat is not particularly sophisticated. But it was nice to have the ability to attack with, see? That bow is not very strong, so you might as well just use the rod. The bow is not a magic item, just so you know. Oh yeah, no one else can use this bow either, like... Yeah, he can't use items. At least he can't use his own items. So let's throw that in here. We can't... Yeah, that's right, we can't use the bow because... There it is. So we can't use the bow as a magic item, which makes sense, if we're being honest. It makes sense. So now we can auto battle for the rest of the way out. Press the square button for auto battle, puts the combat on fast forward, and it remembers basically all. Like I think if you choose auto battle, you wind up using Rydia's magic arrow. If you use it once, then she just keeps using the magic arrow. Let's see what we got. Should have another item we can use. You can also switch out items during combat, which is a nice touch. I don't remember that being in the original game, honestly. But again, if for some reason you want to challenge yourself with real-time menuing, you can activate that. So if you attack this enemy, what happens? Arrows do basically no damage. Kind of worthless. Yep, kind of worthless. And then we'll turn on the item for her. So it remembers where the rod is. That's good. So we'll activate the rod. Just do that. We will not spare the rod. Spoil these Sahagin. Sahagin? 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 I don't know how to pronounce it. Sahagin. I'm not familiar with the lore. So what does this mean? That means that the bow and the arrow that I bought are completely worthless. They're expensive and worthless. I can just use magic instead. Now maybe that's a high-level strategy I just accidentally figured out because Nintendo Power never told me that. Unless that was an ability unless that's an ability that was not available when the game originally came out. I could sell these items. I could also sell the bow and arrow. I guess I'll keep the bow and arrow, but I don't need the money. But the fact that I wasted all that money on it should tell you something. Completely unnecessary. Just use the rod, don't buy anything else. I also can't buy any better equipment for anyone else except for Lydia here. Rydia. Rydia is Lydia. Lydia is Rydia's nickname. Lydia the Summoner, so just keep that in mind. So it's too bad, really. So, but again, I guess, what's the point of equipping this then? I'm less accurate. So I don't gain more evasion if I don't wear anything. I only gain evasion by taking stuff off. What's this iron armlet? So it's just more defense. Okay, fine. So yeah, this is one of the arrangements that's actually better than the original, probably. It gives it a different... Again, the more somber vibe works. The way they extend the arrangement makes it more somber over time, so I think it works better. But as I complained multiple times, most of the music most of the arrangements aren't great. If you want to hear the original soundtrack, it's always here, which we will be doing later. We'll turn down the combat speed a bit later. That's the arrangement. We'll keep it on until we reach the dungeon, because the dungeon has new music you'll want to hear. At least I think it's new. If it's this, well, I'll let you listen to the original music a little bit, so you get to hear the difference between the two when I'm not talking, obviously. So yeah, that was a big fat waste of money. But you know, if you need the money, we can sell we got a bunch of money from fights. We can sell all the items we bought at half price. You know how it is. It's like GameStop. We bought the bow for $200. We can sell it for $100. We bought the arrow for $50. We can sell it for $25. I did not buy the staff because it casts a poison spell that's worthless. It's a poison spell that apparently only works on. I think it's an antidote. Like I think it cures you, but it doesn't seem to matter. I think It's an antidote spell. Maybe that's the problem. It casts a Poisonaga spell that I believe is an antidote to poison. But that means the staff is free. Is a free antidote spell, so I guess it works on that. I guess it works in that sense. So yeah, it's a shame. I wasted a whole bunch of time trying to experiment with those weapons, and it turns out they're completely worthless. Oh well. So we'll head on over. We have plenty of potions, so this won't be a problem. We can also run away. Maybe we can just run away. We don't care. So once we get to the cave and get to explore a bit, I already got one of these treasure chests. Yeah, there's a treasure chest in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen that I got. That ladder over there on the left side that's going up, it's blocked by a dude. We'll deal with him later. He's saying go away, don't come here, basically. So we'll get this loot. The other potions are always good. At this point in the game, potions are good. Eventually, we're just hoarding them. Actually, you say, yeah, so she's casting the magic arrow, so we're good. So I guess the auto battle just turns on the cursor memory and just performs the last action you just did, so that's fine for us. Eventually, we're probably going to want to run away, so we'll see how it goes. Thankfully, because you can turn off the encounters, you don't have to worry about any special items like teleportation, because I remember games like Phantasy Star 2 would have escape pipes or escapipes, which you would use to get yourself immediately out of dungeons. I believe they also had magic items that teleported you back to town, which was useful in that game, but the problem is that stuff was kind of expensive. Like, you had to pay for that stuff. But you had to pay for that kind of stuff with in-game currency. I get it, but I'm glad that stuff is more automatic now. It's not the same as fast traveling, but it saves you a lot of backtracking, because in this era of video games, there was a lot of backtracking. That Maiden's Kiss that I picked up cures the ally of a toad status. There are toads in here that will transform us, I believe. I know there are toads in here. I don't know if they're the ones who transform us, but old school game design implies to me that the characters we're fighting are capable of transforming us into toads. So therefore, the remedies for those status effects are available here. So they snuck up on us from behind, so that means the character in the back was vulnerable, because they were in the front row. So, do they not want me to come here? Because there aren't any other places I can go. Let me check on something. Yeah, I forgot, go down, right? I can't go down. Yeah, there's no way down. Okay, so how do I get to the bottom floor, then? There might not be a way. Yeah, there is no bottom floor. That's all water. So how do I go through the water, then, if that dude won't let me through? Guess that was the part I hadn't figured out. Yeah, I guess that was the part I hadn't figured out yet. Thankfully, enemies are missing quite a bit. I don't know if they changed that from the previous game. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the NES version of the Super Nintendo version of this game was supposed to be easier than the Japanese version, right? Like, I think they... Well, she learned the warp spell. I think it takes me back to town, doesn't it? Okay, it's the previous floor, okay. Or in this case, it might just take me out of the dungeon, which we'll find out in a second. So we'll do a quick save here and teleport ourselves out and see what happens. Gotta love safes. Gotta love safes coming. Yep, so now we're out. So that's an easy way to get out. That's cool. So we'll load the game. Pretty cool, huh? See, we're learning how to play a game. Okay, so how do we get out? I mean, I'm guessing there's a way down, but I don't see one. So he said go back. So maybe I have to, like, unlock something first? Actual backtracking, amazing. Well, that sucks. So, I mean, I could just go back. I could turn off all the encounters and just walk back to town. Just saunter back to town. Why not? Sure, I'll just walk back to town. Don't attack with that. Turn off the auto attack. They chose the wrong attack for the auto attack, so that sucked. Items. So remember this. And now I can do auto battle. We're fine. Because that's my strongest attack. That bow might be useful against, like, regular enemies, I guess, but... Uh-oh. Toad. So am I still a toad? Yes, bad. Magic. Restores. Again, what's the point of this? We already have a detailed map. It's built into the game. Now, of course, you want to turn that off and play the game normally, I suppose. So, how do we heal ourselves? We gotta use the Maiden's Kiss, right? Yeah. So, yeah, these enemies will do that to you. Yeah, that was an autosave, so that doesn't count. So we're gonna bounce. So that means I have to head back to town, which means I should probably turn off the encounters. We'll be fine. Old video games. 69 hit points on these killer fish. Apparently. Normally, again, strategy isn't particularly sophisticated. Just mash on your strongest attack. Heal yourself occasionally. Very old school RPG design. Yeah, so this music repeats a lot in this part of the game. Like I said, it's a 60-minute soundtrack, and like a quarter of the soundtrack is epilogue. Because like the epilogue is like 3 separate songs that are a total of 11 minutes. So as good as the soundtrack is, there ain't much of it. Now it's better than say than like a regular NES game where the soundtrack might be, oh I don't know, 20 minutes long for most of the classics. It's a meme. I've mentioned this before. Like, what are your favorite soundtracks in the NES? Contra, 15 minutes long. Castlevania, 15 minutes long. Metroid, 12 minutes long. And a lot of the music's stupid. It's really short loops and it's really repetitive. Pictionary, it's just Pictionary, Tim Fallon. 10 minutes, maybe 12. Batman, 20 minutes. Ninja Gaiden, maybe 17 or 18 minutes, really short loops. And oh, by the way, a lot of that music is just kind of like very limited, like very short loops, a lot of cinematic music beds. A lot of the music, the problem with a lot of games. Ninja Gaiden definitely had this problem. Saturday Night Slam Masters, I would say, had this problem on the Super NES. It's like the music that plays during the fights is great, but the music outside of it, kind of filler. A lot of filler in that game. So the fights, the music that matters is the music during the fights, but obviously outside of those fights, it's not great. The music in this game, I could argue that was my main problem with Final Fantasy Tactics. It's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. There's a lot of filler music. And it's mainly the stuff that's used for storytelling, and I understand. I get it. Sakamoto Hitoshi, I believe, also did some of the music for Tactics Ogre. Don't remember much about that game at all, honestly. Like, what was his name? Like Sakuraba Motoi, the Star Ocean dude, only did like maybe 2 soundtracks for this entire console. Like Star Ocean 1 wasn't released here in the States, and he did the soundtrack to another game that never got released in the States, I want to say. So Sakuraba basically did no music on any Super Nintendo cartridges, to my knowledge. I think he did the soundtrack to Tales of Phantasia back on the Super Famicom, which was exceptionally well received when it came out. So where are we going? Yeah, we're going to hang out here, figure out what they want us to do. We leveled up, so that's good. Like I said, every level that Lydia gains is going to be helpful because she needs more hit points. She can't get better armor, so this is what we got to do. So we got to meet, what's his name? Is there someone we're supposed to talk to? Isn't Tellah the guy we just met? Well, there's another old guy. It might not be the same dude. Baron. Oh yeah, that's hi, it's me. Can I switch? Yeah, I want to say in Final Fantasy VI, you could switch the character that appears on screen. Can't do that here, which is fine. I'm not gonna complain. So the old man said, go back to town. Okay, so how do we advance? Remember, this game did not come with a manual, and I don't have a strategy, guys. So I'm playing it the way I'm supposed to play it, which is blind. Blind encounters, blind narrative triggers, you know, old video games. So we'll just bounce. Don't need any more items. And that door up there is locked, I want to say. Out the way, lady. So it's not locked. You mean me? Oh, here we go. There it is. Okay, so that... Thanks. Thanks for making me waste all that trip. I should have leveled her up when I was leveling up Rydia. Or maybe I couldn't have unlocked it right away. We're going to find out. I'm not dead. Oh, we found another lady. So it wasn't Lydia, it was somebody else. Funny how that... So now I guess I do have to go to the cave. I'm not dead. You, however... What do you mean me don't die on you? You're the one who's laying in bed with some kind of desert fever. So I thought they were talking about Lydia. I guess they weren't. Well, it's time to say my... Yeah, she barely has anything to say. Yeah, that's a reveal, I suppose. So now we can actually play the game. So there was nothing I could have done to level her up at this point. So we have a two-man party, and we'll have to deal with this. Items, rod. Okay, now we can auto-battle. So we gotta take out the millipede first, because he unleashes the earthquake, as I found out accidentally. Like I said, you know, every biome has its own enemies, and it doesn't take long to figure out what their tricks are. So you're just kind of grinding through them. Again, the combat in this game isn't sophisticated enough to justify that kind of stuff, I would say. Zombies. In your head. In your head. Speaking of 90s references. So I get brand new... Oh, these guys are dead? So I can't attack them with physical damage? I could also leave. Yeah, I gotta leave. My sword won't do it. Gotta bounce. So, Lydia, whatever. They can use items as... Yeah, the only items I can use are unequipped items, I want to say. And I want to say I can't use the rod. Because if I remove it from Lydia... The fact, yeah, she's not... the rod is not equipped on Lydia. But Cecil can't use it. The Dark Knight here can't use it. So only certain people can use certain items. You could have... You know, I had the Dark Sword earlier when I talked to you. A Spoony Bard, by chance? Yeah, you're the old guy. See, I told you. Indeed I am. And don't get too... Yeah. Don't get too attached to him either. So we can swap this out. Okay, so we got Tellah here. He's level 20. Perfect. Okay. We can go with the normal music for this part. I could bounce. Yeah, if we turn off the... well, the thing is, yeah, we can bounce out of here. So give me a second. We got a quick save here. We can bounce out, save our game. We could just save it. We can't save it inside of here, so... Just a second. Items, rod. Items. He can't use any of this. So maybe he could use a staff. Yeah, this is the poison healing spell, I suppose. Oh well. So I don't have to buy a staff. And he can't use the rod. Yeah, my boy here can't. Cecil can't use the rod. Oh well. What are you gonna do? So you can have a party of 5 in this game, which is always nice. Old school, but it does the job. Again, that's more than I can say for Final Fantasy VII. Haha. Can you have more than 4 people in your party? Can you have more than 3 people in your party in Final Fantasy VII? I want to say no. Odd, right? So we had to level up Lydia, but we didn't have to level up Tellah here, which is good. So we can't really save here. We'd have to leave to save. So we can bounce. Then we can save outside. We're not doing the other kind of save scumming. Yep, magic arrow's fine. Magic arrow's fine. Did Tellah cast a magic spell, or did he just hit him with a staff, and the staff did fire damage? Because I didn't cast any spells. I think he's just hitting them with staffs. He's hitting him with the staff. That's all you need to know. It's too bad he can't use any magic items. I mean, he can use the item. The problem is the only item he can use, the only spell he can cast is the Poisonaga spell, whatever that even means. So unless I'm actually poisoned, it means nothing. Okay, we're out. So we can save here. And we're healthy enough, we don't have to heal. So we haven't taken that much damage. That worked out. Party of 3. Let's go. Like I said, don't get too attached to either of these characters. The game loves to swap dudes out. So I think there might have been a patch for this port where when a character leaves your party, they leave all their gear behind, which is why all of Kane's armor is in our possession and not attached to his body. Which works out in our favor. Like I said, unlike, say, some Final Fantasy characters who take all their armor with them when they get stabbed. Yeah, we're going around. So that looks like a dead end. No, there's a way. Okay, so if we go to the right, we can go into the water and grab that treasure chest. So we'll take the detour and the risk associated with it. So we're gonna get into a bunch of fights on our way to the treasure chest. So fair warning there. Is it worth it? Well, we earned plenty of money, so we have plenty of potions. So again, that's the trade-off. You can turn off encounters, but we're not doing that. Again, we kind of want to establish how the encounter rate works in this game for the purposes of this video. I think, again, I'm curious. Again, I was told the Super Nintendo version was easier than the Japanese version, so I'm curious what actually got changed. Maybe some of the rules for, yeah, maybe some of the rules for, status effects were changed. I forget. Jeremy Parrish did a video about Final Fantasy IV. In fact, he did 3 videos as a mini-series to explain Final Fantasy IV when it launched in the United States. He hasn't spent much time on Super Nintendo games. I heard that music hit. You can't fool me. But I want to say the Super Nintendo games that he was reviewing were only from the launch windows. We've reviewed only the games that were released within the before the end of the year. So he did videos about the launch of the Super NES and all the games that got released before Christmas, basically. So I think he ended up by talking about Lagoon. So I can't go that way. So how do you get the treasure chest, y'all? Probably have to climb. There might be a secret area I have to walk through, which for a game like this would make sense. So I'm in the water, but where do I go? Because I can't go up the waterfall, I don't think. Rocks down there. So I can't go that way, so that was my master plan. Oh, well, whoop, there you go. So I can climb up there. Okay, so you could actually equip this. I think Lydia already has one. Optimal, so he gets one now. Yeah, Lydia already has one. Yeah, mine are better than yours, huh? So it's not much of an improvement, but something Brother Man can wear. So that's fine. How many more chests we have here? 18 chests in here, no items. So basically there are no pots we have to open. Fine. So, like I said, just expect a whole bunch of this for the next 10 minutes, probably. Old school video games. I want to say the enemies all hit harder in the Japanese version. I'll double check. I remember this game got a Game Boy Advance port that I was told was broken. Like, apparently there's some kind of weird timing bug where I think that meant that some fights were more dangerous. So I think that was scuttlebutt. So I'm very curious and I can go on Reddit and ask people. I'm like, hey guys, remember the Game Boy Advance version? Do you know what changed? I mean, the good thing about a franchise like Final Fantasy is there's always some group of nerds who can dig deeper into it. There's probably some FAQs, that kind of thing. And of course, on the internet now, there's a bunch of websites saying, hey, these are the arcade games you can play in Yakuza 1, in the Yakuza Kiwami remake, that kind of thing. These are the games you can play in Judgment, which is why I play Yakuza games. Mostly is to play old video games, old Sega arcade games. They're all emulated by M2, but they seem to do the job. Except for the AI sucking in Virtual Fighter 5. That's another issue entirely. I mean, I wish they would have added harder difficulty levels, but what are you going to do? We got a mallet. Here's an ally of mini. So if you shrink them, hitting them with a mallet makes them big again. That's interesting. So I don't know why that ladder was over there on the right, because it just leads to a dead end. Not that I'm complaining. So we have Tellah and Lydia here. The two mages are in the back row. And since Tchalla, the Dark Knight, is the leader, he's going to be in the vanguard, taking up all the damage, drawing aggro. He has the best armor. He can afford to do that. Ha ha! Got scared. Lydia will level up on the next turn, so she'll catch up probably in a few... She's only level 12. She'll probably never catch up. But she started at level 1, so what are you going to do? She's a child soldier. She's learning on the streets. So we're going up and to the left. Again, I love this map. Which some people might think is cheating, and my response is some video games just work better when you don't have to make your own maps. Because the challenge of this game is getting... well, you could argue that one of the tiny bits of challenge in this game is finding dead ends. Like, it's actually it's a dead end, but I'm one of those people who's like, look, dead ends are not challenging unless there are enemies along the way. Yeah, the combat isn't challenging enough or sophisticated enough for the grind of dealing with multiple fights to be worth the punishment of... in other words, you're punishing exploring by making people get into very simplistic fights that whittle down your health. Very old school 20th century game design. I get it. I don't know what that item is in the center of the map. On the top of the map in the center, no idea what that is. In between the two treasure chests. We're going to find out. We have to go the long way around, don't we? Yeah, we're going to have to go the long way around to find out. So we got to get that treasure chest to go all the way down and around that one stupid rock. Well played. I mean, I'm glad we can sprint. Again, a nice quality of life feature to kind of speed things up. But again, like, the problem with a game like this, unless you completely rebalance it from the ground up, there's really not a whole lot you can do to make the game more sophisticated. You can just make it less of a grind. Like, make that the enemies give you more experience points. Stuff like that. Other than that, I mean, the challenge... then that brings up the question of, if it takes you an hour to, like, become overpowered, what's the point of even playing the game at that point? So I can get that treasure chest and bounce. One potion, I'll take it. That's the good thing about Nintendo Power Maps is that, yeah, they tell you where the valuable treasure chests are. You can ignore all the other ones. But if you're playing this game blind, it's like, okay, if I go this way, is there a treasure chest? If I go that way, is there a treasure chest? How many enemies do I have to fight to get to that treasure chest? Maybe this treasure chest is an enemy inside of it. You have to fight to get the treasure that it drops, you know, whatever. But again, it's very marginal bits of challenge that gets added to a game like this that's otherwise not particularly challenging. And it's kind of hard to be a purist if you're playing a game like this on a PlayStation 4 with all these quality of life enhancements. But again, the quality of life enhancements don't add a whole lot to the game. They just make the nastier parts of it less bothersome. Because obviously, you know how it is. People my age, you know, everything about these games seems novel. You're okay with the pacing. But apart from the whole turn-based stuff, a lot of people just didn't like these games because they just seem too basic. And I can see, like, I'm accidentally discovering stuff I didn't know I could do in this game, like this magic arrow right here. But once you discover that, it makes the game marginally easier, but it doesn't really. Again, when you're first starting out, Lydia is very weak, so she can't even fight. Well, now she's strong enough to fight. You've accomplished the one hurdle in your progression at this point in the game, which is just getting one of your characters strong enough to survive a dungeon crawl by engaging in very simplistic fights for 30 minutes. Like, I get it. That was the goal. That was the trick. What did I miss? Yeah, I have to go through that gate. Okay, so I have to go through the gate. Oh! That's a wrinkle. There's probably an autosave already. I do love these breadcrumb saves. They're a nice touch. Autosaves, breadcrumb saves. Oh, yeah, there we go. So that's a nice touch. So I guess I could grind here if I wanted. Yeah, just like in Final Fantasy 15. Do we get to cook? Yeah, she's a summoner. She's already learned like 7 spells already. Like, so it's like, what's her name? What's that anime? Gosh darn it. Not Faria. What's the name of that freaking anime? The one with the elf. The one with the elf that's like 1,000 years old. Frieren. Yeah, Frieren. Training. It's like Frieren being tricked into teaching a young girl magic, I guess. What's that about not consenting? What's this about consent, old man? That's actually not why I'm here. The reason I'm here is I was on a mission and I found out that my friend has been struck by the desert fever. I seem to have forgotten. I was here because, I was here to defeat a mist dragon. And then what was I supposed to have done? Maybe I should have checked. Maybe I should have gone back to the castle and checked. Or maybe they were expecting me to die. I forgot what happened after I beat the mist dragon. Yes, right. No, after I was supposed to go after the mist dragon, I was supposed to go to the town and drop the bomb on him, which I did. And then after I dropped the bomb, the road behind me collapsed. So I could use tents and cottages. So there are there houses in this game? Because in Final Fantasy 1, there were tents where you could replenish your health and magic. I believe there were cottages where you could. I think tents replenished most of your. Tents replenished your health, I want to say. Cottages replenished your health and magic. And I want to say houses, which were hilarious, allowed you to save your game while doing the other two, as I recall. No, Final Fantasy 1 is included as part of this collection, so I could do that. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. And don't forget, we have this warp spell that takes us back to the previous level if we have to. In fact, we already saved our game. Let's do a test. I can't warp. Maybe I can't do it in this room. I've already saved my game, so let's see what's up. So I can warp. Let's see if it takes us to level 1. If I do it again, will it take us out? Okay, that's not what I meant. So I guess they're treating it as a floor. Good thing I saved my game. Okay, we're experimenting, kids. Bear with me. I'm testing the bounds of reality here. To quote Jim Morrison. Okay, so we don't want that. Okay, so that's a trick. So we have to do it the old-fashioned way, I suppose. So we have a quick save. Actually, I have a regular save, so let's do the regular save. Like, yeah, I want to keep all my magic points. Give me a second. That's why I made that extra save, just for funsies. I want to say the original Super Nintendo game had a battery inside where you could save up to 5, if not 6. Separate slots for saving, which is not bad. For the era, it's actually rather generous. I'll be the first to say. I think, you remember on the NES, you can only save 3 or 4 slots, I believe. I can double check. The nerds will know what games allowed you to save more than 3 slots. I don't remember how. I think Final Fantasy 1 only had 1 save slot, as I recall. Well, actually, no, it had 4. I think it had 4. I'll find out when I play the ROM, right? So how do you want to do this? Yeah, of course. Preemptive strike, though. So I guess what I should have gone back. Well, I'll go back. I'll do a quick save and do a check on something. Like I said, I'm doing just random save scumming to test out what I can do. Because my understanding is that I can save my game in that room even if I don't have a tent. So I'll double check. But I don't think I heal myself unless I actually use the tent. So we'll see how it goes. But knowing that you get a free tent here would mean that, yeah, you can grind up as much as you want. This would be the best place to grind up. Yeah, the old school games, you gotta grind. You know it is. You don't have to grind that much. You might want to get strong. You might want to get enough hit points to, like, be able to survive a fight. There we go. Now we're talking. So what do we want? Who can equip this? Nope. So he can only have it in his right hand. So he can wear a rod. What about her? She can have an ice rod. So instead of... So what would you want? If he gets the staff, you can give her the ice rod. Yes, she has to choose, and that's fine. Because we don't want to use the bow anyway. Cast Blizzard when used in battle. So we can choose which spell we want to use. That might be fun. Quick save. So here's what I'll do. I'll load this up. I want to see if I can save here. Okay. So did I heal myself? I think I did. So I can save here. Okay, that's fine. So the question is, do I always heal? We're going to find out in a second. Let me get the regular... We'll turn on the arranged music so you get to hear a bit of it. You might have already heard it before, but... A little bit of variety in the music, because the soundtrack is good. I'm just curious how the arranged music is. So see, do I get to heal myself? No, we don't. So it's a safe place for using tents, but we can't heal ourselves automatically here. That might make the game too easy, honestly. But if you have a bunch of tents, no problem. We have 5 of them. We're not going to worry about it. So if we have to come back here, we can. We have a safe-ish spot. Okay, what are our options here? Items. Poison. Don't want to use that. We can use the magic arrow. That hits hard. She can use... wait, she's supposed to be able to use the ice. There we go. Ice rod. All enemies. There we go. Square. Big blizzard. So the magic arrow only works on one enemy, probably. Okay, that's cool. So you have to hold down L2 to attack all enemies? Because I thought you had to press left on the D-pad to target all enemies. We'll figure that out later, okay? There's an There's a door here we can go through. So that's what that item, that's what that symbol means. There's a door to go through. No more treasure chests, though, right? Yeah, we're good. We got them all. Yeah, good, fam. So it's a very light maze. Nothing really complicated. No dead ends, really. Ice rod. So you can attack us. You can press left on the D-pad to target individual enemies or single enemies. So we'll just pick one. Go nuts. Okay, that didn't hit nearly strong enough. Yeah, so that targeted blizzard didn't do very well. It's a free attack, by the way, so I might as well just use it on everybody. You just use it on everybody if it hits for the same amount of damage. Actually, it hits for a bit less. Okay, never mind. But what just happened? Was that a heal? What was the heal? Well, maybe the water bug healed it. It's entirely possible the water bug healed it. And he's bouncing. There's an argument to be made that you could attack the water bug first if he's healing people. So there is that. Set that rock here for no reason. So we're gonna get those. We're gonna get the treasure, then head up to the next floor, and we're fine. There might be a hidden item here if you want to investigate. I'm not gonna bother. I don't think we can actually go in the water though. Yeah, so it's an AoE attack. There's an argument to be made that we shouldn't even be using the ice spell for that. It's not even that strong. Can we just hit enemies with it? Single enemy. Okay. But he can't use the ice rod if someone else equipped it, I believe. Is that the way that works? He can use a regular rod. He just can't use the ice rod if someone else has it equipped. That's the catch. And the question is, what weapon is she attacking with? That part I hadn't figured out yet. I'll double check. The ice rod might not be that useful. Yeah, it might not even be that useful. Because it doesn't seem to be hitting that hard, which is the other problem. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be that strong. So he's got a... So the argument is you can have him hit with a staff that attack with something else. Which isn't terrible. If you want either of them to use the rod, you're better off just having her equipped with the bow or having her be unequipped, I guess. But she's just gonna attack with the... She's gonna attack with the rod, so why even bother? The staff is strong enough for him to attack on his own, right? Like, I guess you could give him the ice rod, but then she can't use it. So if no one's using it, then either mage can cast a spell with it, it looks like. So that might be the best way to do that. Got a bomb fragment. Which does... It's a fire spell. It's a fire consumable. How we doing this? I think we're fine. Yeah, we should be fine. In my back of my mind, I'm thinking there's something I forgot, but I think we're okay. Yeah, we check the map. We got 9 of the 18, so we're not done yet with this level. Hopefully the game will let us back in here, but I don't even know if we need anything that's inside any of these treasure chests. I don't even know why it matters. Rod. So, not that. So we have a rod or an ice rod. Yes, we can do a rod, or so anyone can use this rod if we want. So as long as no one's equipped the rod, then anyone can use either rod. No one's equipped the ice rod or the regular rod, so anyone can use it as an item, so that's cool. I guess it's something I was not aware of when I first played this game on launch on the Super Nintendo. So it's nice to be able to discover stuff like this, assuming it was even a possibility in the first game. I'm gonna have to watch a walkthrough or watch a speed run to see if that was even possible. Interesting kind of hidden bit. That probably wasn't... I mean, it explains it here. I don't know if that was made clear. I don't know if that was made clear in the original Super Nintendo localization. Like, did they even tell you can use these items as magic spells? I don't know if they did. I think it's a hidden item. Yep, see? If you're playing on a Super Nintendo... Yeah, if you're playing on a Super Nintendo, on a console, you'd be able to see this wall because it's obviously a secret passage. I don't know if enemies appear here, though. That would be good to check. Yeah, so there is a treasure chest over there. That's the only way to get to that treasure chest. And I want to say the instruction manual did make clear that there are secret areas like this, but they made it clear by making the tile on the floor, obviously. Well, it's not obvious. But I just figured it. I figured it might have been a secret passageway, and it was. But yeah, on the Super Nintendo, you could see like light gray lines. I think it might have been the brightness setting. Like I knew I could just see that there are hidden passageways here. But I guess here they masked them by making the colors accurate. So I guess that explains that. There we go. There's a treasure chest over here. Let's see what we get. And I want to say the preemptive strikes are dice rolls based on our speed level or something like that. Got a feather in my cap. Who gets it? Okay, don't have him equip that. Give him a staff. Let's see. Can no one use... Okay, so he does have the feather cap. Who needs it more? I think he does. Actually, I think she might. What did he have before? Nothing? Well, can he wear that one? He can wear the leather cap. Well, she has fewer hit points, so maybe she does need it. That's going to be my logic anyway. Nope. So we're fine. Good enough. So we got one piece of gear that might be marginally useful because we can't even buy it. So there is that. So you can get attacked inside the secret passageway. So we're gonna... Yep, use the magic arrows. We're fine. Whoop, wrong button, wrong button. Turn off the auto attack. We need to make sure she uses the spell. Rod. Item, rod. Yeah, magic arrows for everybody. There might be enemies where the ice spell works. It doesn't seem to work against the fish, which is kind of surprising. Surprised it doesn't work on the toads. Or maybe I don't remember it working well on the toads, but anyway. Where are we headed? Can't go left unless we fall off the side, I guess. So go to the left. Take the stairs and go to get the treasure chest over there. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, let's do this right. Items, rod. Items. Ice rod. Attack all the enemies and see who's vulnerable. No one. So we'll have to use magic attacks. So they got cure spells. Take out the water bugs in the back. They're the healers. They'll run away if things get dicey, it looks like. Attack. Items, rod, in the back. See, healing. You gotta take them out. Okay, then we're gonna turn on the auto attack. So they won't heal them. I guess they'll heal. They can't heal themselves, but they're healing their allies. Okay, so he's down. We gotta take him out. You're targeting the wrong person. What's your name? Lydia, take out the dude in the back. They're the healers. See, so they can't heal themselves. And he bounced, so we can turn on the auto attack. So the hope was that we could take out the healers before they start just regenerating health on all the other people. I guess it's just a random spell it's a spell that they cast on a random ally. But if they're the healers, we gotta take them out first. And if they run away, fine. I'm fine with that. A little bit of strategy in this game. That ether is going to be necessary to regenerate our magic. But like I said, we're using items for free magic, so that's good. Antarctic wind is probably a consumable. Yeah, it's a blizzard consumable. But we have a spell that does the same thing. I don't know if it's any stronger. And apropos of nothing, I was always a fan of the parallax scrolling in these. I love it when a top-down game like this just parallax scrolling when you're to give you the illusion of height. I always thought that was cool. I love seeing parallax scrolling in an RPG like this. Okay, don't use arrows, use magic. Attack twice, wow. Rod. Did the ice spell work any better? I'll find out in a second. Yeah. Okay, so it is vulnerable to ice. That's good. There used to be like a scan potion or like some consumable scan glasses. So you can like look at an enemy's weaknesses or something. I want to say I was definitely in Final Fantasy 3. So we're going across. There's a treasure chest below us. So we'll get those. Better be good stuff in here. Gotta take out the dudes in the back. Blizzard might work. I can't promise it will. Nope, just use a regular magic arrow. Attack the dude on the top and the back. He's the healer. Yeah, hit him. So we can't use auto attacking and we take out the mages. So we're gonna have to manually control the flow of battle here. Fine. I accept that. I'm trying to add a little bit of strategy. I'm trying to add a little bit of tactical consideration in the fighting here. Whoop, wrong guy, wrong guy, wrong guy. The cursor automatically chose him. As soon as I pressed the button, the cursor was automatically switching to him, so well done, I guess. Because I pressed the button too soon. That seems to be the problem. He's not healing himself. There's your problem. Okay, we got him. Not dead yet. You're healing the wrong people, just saying. Yeah, so he's out. So we can use auto attack now. He bounced. I want to see if I can kill him before he ran away so I can get the experience, but whatever. Let's pretend it matters. I got one of them. Yeah. Music's hitching, just saying. So how deep am I going to go with this game? Probably, I'm going to play probably a dozen hours. I'll play this game till the football game starts, but I kind of get a feel for the flow of the game at this point. It's once I get 5 party members, I'll stop playing, but I want to play the other Final Fantasies because they're a lot less linear. Like Final Fantasy 2 and 3, definitely. Hourglass, I believe. Ooh, Shadow Blade. That sounds like a consumable. Gotta love a great name, though. Oh, so I can equip that. Okay. And what else did I get? Well, I got other items or whatever. Let's see. Shadow Blade sounds amazing. Well, it's better. Don't know if I can use it as an item, but we'll find out later. Freaking Shadow Blade, dog. Yeah, look at that. Good enough. We can do a quick save if we need to. So I guess it was worth it, getting a much better item. So I'll see if I can use this as an item. So I have the quick save here.